giving out, probably what is it, for Let's Go Help members, what we do is we give out $30,000 each month, and either $1,000 or $500. And all you have to do is state in a sentence what you would do with $1,000. So we do it every month for a year now, and so this July 4th is the year anniversary of doing this. I mean, I'm just so shocked we were able to do this. And it's really because of members, because they believe in what we do, and so the profits, what we do is give back to the members. And so the next deadline for this is July 4th, midnight Eastern daylight saving time, I guess is what you call it. And you have to be a member, and you go to letsgohelp.com to be a member. And not only do we give you the application for our grant, which we give, about 50 people win every month, and we gave out about $300,000 so far. But we also help you get apply to every other government grant in America, whether it's a federal government, state government, whatever. And we'll tirelessly keep helping you until you learn the system and get the grant. And it's all $20 worth. So I think this is the best deal America has and everything. I actually think you shouldn't pay. The government should be doing this, but they won't. So to support us to keep doing this, we have to charge something. So if you want to apply for this grant, it ends on midnight, January 4th, and you got to be a member. So you got to go to letsgo.com and give us money. I'm sorry, but that's the way we have to do it. If I was independently wealthy, I'm shocked as hell we could do this. So I want to thank the members and everybody else. But what I also want to talk about is what's going on now with the money that's available. There's so much money that's going out. The government doesn't know how to spend it. And it's not the federal government. The federal government's not doing much more except for like training money and getting a better job and stuff like that. But money to help with your daily expenses and other kinds of things, that's now all coming from the state and local and county government. So that's where you have to concentrate. And there's so many new programs coming up almost every single day. Man, I just read like California now is going to give you $1,000 to help you pay your gas tax. Who would have thought? Because the gas prices went so high. Money for rent. The federal program ran out, so they're giving more money in these rental programs. So people think there's no money there anymore because somebody said that. You have to go back and check again. And if the people say they don't have money, then you have to say where else. And that's the other thing. You have to not just go one place to check for money or check for help. And the other thing about checking for money and help is don't ask for money. I know it sounds stupid, but that's the way to do it, because the people are there really to help you with problems. If they have money, they have money. They give you money problems. Some of them don't. But most of all, they help people with problems so they know how other people have solved problems. And that's what you want to know.
I like your outfit.
Thank you, sir. This is all it's an investigation game. I mean, if you were looking for a job, if you were, trying to get a date or something, you just can't ask one person and they say no and you go home and cry. No, you can't do that with getting help for what you need and the financial thing. And that's how we don't train people to do that. We train people in this country to search Google, give money to somebody to try to solve the problem. And they usually don't because they're in it to make their own money. And that's why, to me, some of them I'm sure they're not all bad or whatever. But if you don't have money, it's silly to give somebody money to solve your problem. So that's the biggest thing. And that's why people, I believe, keep having problems, because they think there's an easy way to solve a problem. If you don't solve it easily, then there isn't an easy way, and you got to up your game. And it's like that for anything. And that means working harder. That means doing things that you're not comfortable doing. If it was easy, then your problem would be solved. But the problems are solvable, but they're not in the way that you think they are. They should be solved. And what you have to do is find out what is there that you could use to solve your problem. There are different things. We don't know enough about life to know that. Problems are solved differently every day. And what solves for one person won't be solved for another person. And that's why you have to dig in there and do it. You roll up your sleeves, put on your big boy pants, and start knocking on doors. And when you knock on doors, you don't say, hey, I'm looking for a grant. Say, I'm looking for help. Because particularly nonprofits and government offices, they may or may not have grants, but they have a lot of knowledge about your problem that you could tap into to find other sources of financial help you needed or other kind of help. Because there's more than one way that the government solves the problems. They won't give you a grant, but they'll take over the payments or something like that. Or they give something that's called a forgivable loan. That's not a grant, so you ask for a grant, you're going to miss those things. They have other things called direct payments. And that's just money. They don't give a shit what you do. They don't call it a grant, though. So if you're calling it a bureaucracy and saying, I want a grant, people don't know what's in the... I said I have to reconnect. Old people run most things now, and they want the world to work like it used to. It won't be again, and so you have to you learn new stuff. But it's not insurmountable. You're not going to be comfortable doing it, but everything is like that. So if you're not comfortable now because you're miserable, well, you could stay miserable or do something that's uncomfortable and start digging away. And that's the way. And that's what I hope Let's Go Help does. And that's what I see that members in Let's Go Help do that. I mean, they're helping people as much or more so than I am. And giving people encouragement and showing them how, as a woman who was just sharing with her how she was able to get $60,000, $68,000, yeah. And she gives a step-by-step and helps other people in the club doing that. So in addition to all our admin people who always send you more sources, you're still in the game as long as you have a source. If you don't have any source, then you're out of the game. So that's what research now in our society is about. And it's also about not going on Google, because we don't know what to ask on Google. That's why I used to wear the question mark suit. It's really asking the right questions. If you just say, I want a grant, you're going to be inundated with all kinds of people and literally all kinds of millions and billions of websites that promise you, they'll solve your problem as long as you give them money. So you have a problem, then that means the sharks are coming out there and going to find out how to tap into your mind, into your heart even, and make you believe that they could solve your problem as long as you give them money. Well, that most of the time will not be true, but that's a biased opinion. But I probably have data if I want to collect it to see that's true. And even like mine, I show where your money is, but I can't guarantee you're going to get it. And that's why we only guarantee that these are real programs we're showing you that give out money to solve problems like yours. And you have to contact them and figure out if it's right for you. And the most important thing is contacting them, right or wrong, because then you ask them, well, where else? If this isn't good for me, who else would you suggest? See, they're in the best position to know that, because these are bureaucrats who are working on this subject for 10, 15, 20 years or whatever, of helping people with that problem, whether it's a debt problem or a business problem or a housing problem. So they've seen programs come and go and whatever. And see, there's so many new ones coming all the time. We can't keep up on it. That's why the key to keeping up on things is people and talking to people. It's not the internet, because it changed. All these programs changed too quickly, and you can't keep up. The internet can't keep up. It's out of date or whatever. So it's just like printing was. When I used to do books were out of date as soon as they're printed. Now it's almost the same thing with the internet. As soon as a website is on, it's probably out of date. And so you can't live like that, thinking that everything is perfect and this is the latest and greatest and whatever. No, it's a start. And then you have to take that. Now, you can get the latest and greatest, but it'll cost you thousands. And the people I want to help don't have thousands. So I put that aside and not worry about it, because there's a way to teach you, how to survive in this environment and the information explosion. I got an MBA in computers back in the 70s. And my whole life has been trying to show people about how to use and get information for personal life. I'm not looking for scientists or anything like that. No, just to live in our society. And now it's even becoming more complicated. And there's too many people making money off your confusion. And when there's options that don't charge you money. And that's what I'm trying to show. Every website we give will never charge you money. It's that simple. So every website, I can't promise they'll give you money, but they won't ask you for money. And that's why the websites you get on Google are people who are going to want money from you. I only show you websites that give money to you or help or whatever. And that's the other thing, is to get money out of your brain, and the main thing you're looking for is help. Because it's easier to help somebody because they could help you. They may not have money, but they may be able to help you. And they're in the best position to be able to help you because that's what they do every day. You run into this once in your life or whatever and try to figure it out. But they're talking to hundreds or dozens of people every day who have this problem, and they learn how they fix it up. Or they go to meetings on people who help people in debt, so they know all the other stuff that's going on. That's the key to life. That's the key to getting what you need in life, not Google. Google is great when you know exactly the name of what you want. It's hard, to get anything of value out of there without costing an arm and a leg. Let's see, start a discussion on Facebook and they'll get you answers. Yes, that may be true. I mean, sure, at least it's cheap. You try everything free, no guarantee again, but it's free. To see, the problem is other places, and you chase it down. And even an answer isn't always the only answer. An answer isn't always right, and you got to be prepared for that. So these are all just maybes. Life is a maybes. There's no guarantees. So you follow that down, and if that doesn't work, then you go back to the well again and try. They're the people who solve problems in life, and we have to solve our own problems. And I think that's the best advice I can give to solving them. But we want to be easy. We want to make one phone call. We want to fill out one form and have all problems solved. Why? Because the people who want money from you promise you that. So that's why you think. So all the ads, all the websites you see about solving a problem, all you have to do is this. 1, 2, 3. All you have to do is that. 1, 2, 3. Vote for me. That's it all. They're saying what they know you want to hear. And that's how they get your money. Or your vote, or whatever it is. And it's going to take work on your side and shifting through all this and discarding the bad stuff and trying to find more good stuff. And other than that, the problem will remain unless you get a bigger problem. Okay. Well, thanks for putting up with me. And if you remember, don't forget, apply to the July 4th. The 4th of July is the deadline for our grant this month. So you just have a few more days. And we have an application. We have a new process now. We're just getting a little overwhelmed. And we're thinking about increasing the amount of money too next time, but we'll see. That may take another month to decide. But you'll do that. Also, on Tuesday night, we have a live video training on how to use the system. Okay? And in our system, Let's Go Help, how to use Let's Go Help the best. Even though I've been studying this stuff almost 50 years, it's still hard to organize it in a way that is helpful to people to understand. So that's why a lot of people join and they get a little overwhelmed, because it is overwhelming. We're talking about government stuff, and the government is overwhelming. So that's why we have this seminar free. Not that once you belong for $20, we never charge anything more. Okay, so there's people that sneak in, trolls and stuff like that. Somehow they get into Facebook and they pretend they're me and they want money from you. That's not me. Once he gave us $20. We never asked for anything more. Anybody who does is a scam, okay? So that's the important thing to remember. And there's just so much of that. That's why also if you're a Let's Go Help member, we have Let's Go Help 2. Make sure you see that and get over there. And you can get the links on the Facebook group, because that's a backstore link. If you go to letsgohelp2.co, they're going to ask you for money because you're not a member. Members go in the back door. And if you do join on letsgohelp2.co, you also get automatic membership to the Facebook group. So one price, two services. It's really the same thing. It's just Facebook's getting weird. It's really boils down to. So talk to you soon. Have fun. It's nice here in DC. It's in the 90s today. So like real summertime here. Getting some real sweat. So just don't sweat it. Let us help.